Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and today we're going to be going over the 2020 Toyota Sequoia TRD Sport. This was kind of by mistake. I drove by this car super quick, thought it was a TRD Pro, so ran in, got the keys, and then I kind of came out and then I was like, oh, it's a Sport, and it's not a TRD Pro, but it's okay, we're gonna do the video anyways. So, as always, we're gonna do a quick walk around on the car, then we're gonna take it out to see how it drives. A big shout out and thank you to Larry H. Miller, Toyota here in Murray, Utah, for providing us with the Sequoia TRD Sport. Check out their inventory in the link below, and yes, as soon as they get their TRD Pro, that's, I think in white is the color, as soon as that comes in, then I'll be doing a review on the Pro. Let's get into the video. The hood here of the TRD Sport Sequoia, we have a naturally aspirated 5.7 liter V8 that goes through a 6-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 13 around town and 17 on the highway, with power outputs being 381 horsepower and then 401 pound-feet of torque, so it's identical to the Tundra. Finish things up on the front end of the TRD Sport Sequoia. So I really like this line here on the hood, looks really sporty. These new upgraded headlights look really nice. Definitely makes the car look a whole lot more premium. Blacked out badging, you got the fog lights down below. You do have some chrome accenting, but then they do have some blacked out elements, so a little bit confusing on that, but I think overall the front end on this looks really good and really aggressive looking. I love it. Around the side here, we've got 275mm tires, 20-inch rims, and they are all blacked out. You can actually see the brake caliper pretty well, so you could paint those. You do body match paint, that would be pretty cool on the brake calipers. But anyways, pretty standard setup for an off-road SUV or truck. Got mud flaps just down below, TRD Sport badging, side steps along the side, and then you can see the mirrors right here are actually black. They're not body painted, but they are black. And then other than that, here is a side angle so you guys can see the side profile on the Sequoia. Here is the key fob on the Sequoia TRD Sport. You got a couple functions, your lock and unlock, and yes, it has remote start. I have figured out how to remote start a Toyota, so I just give me a second, wait for it. Wait for it. There we go. You hear that 5.7 liter V8 come to life. And then if you press the button again, that'll shut it right back off. Let's go to the rear of the Sequoia. So we just got to pop back here and lift up the tailgate. So yes, it is hydraulic functionality on that. You can see tons of storage space back here. Got a box of goodies, obviously, and then you can actually lift this up right here. Extra storage space underneath. Got a little charging station right there. Obviously, you can pick this up so you can have the third row. You got the controls for the third row right here, which I think is pretty cool, where you can basically control that kind of stuff. Other than that though, pretty standard setup for most SUVs that are in this price range and also in this segment. And just one more look at the rear, and when we want to throw it down, they give you these straps, but these straps don't really work because I can't throw the strap and pull the thing down. It's just better if you just grab the tailgate and boom. Here is the rear of the Sequoia, and this is kind of where the age is shown on the SUV just a little bit. Mostly with the taillights. They could have at least, upgraded these, done LEDs, but they have not. Blacked out Sequoia badging, the Toyota logo. Got your receiver hitch just down below with all the plugins for towing. You guys saw that exhaust tip out the rear, and then you can see the little kind of spoiler-like thing in the back, but here's just one more look at the rear of the Sequoia. Now, before we fully head into the back, I want to note that there is a roof rack up top. Now we can go to the back door panel. So you can see the paneling here. They kind of got this soft touch right here in this area. Cool little silver trim, one of the door handles. And then you have the seats. These are captain chairs here in the back. You can see there's the adjustments to lower them, all that. Full leather on these. You got the contrasted stitching on them as well. And then you can see that here we've got this kind of little center console area where they can control their climate controls. And if you pull this down, got some cup holders. It's kind of stuck in there kind of hard, so gotta use a little bit of force to pull that out. Other than that, things are pretty simple in the back, nothing too crazy, but there is a ton. I mean, you can see how much leg room there is. There is absolutely a massive amount of leg room in the back. Coming to the front of the Sequoia, you can see the front, you got cup holders at the bottom. You've got more of that soft touch trim here on the side. Got some silver trim with all of the window controls, mirror controls, all that. And then you've got a little ashtray here, which I think that's kind of a little bit of a funny touch. Speaker for the sound system. TRD Sport right there, and then we've got these seats here in the front. So again, full leather with the stitching. Got all the power adjustments there on the side. And you can see that you can adjust that out, so it's kind of Oh, I have to turn the car on. Anyways, you can adjust this out. Obviously, you have to have it on. Got the pedal layout just down below. That is for your light controls. You got your mirror adjustments that are right there, actually. And then the steering wheel is going to be manually adjustable. And here's one more look before we pop inside. Let's start the Sequoia. Put your foot on the brake, push the push start. Everything will fire right up, and wait for it. I'm low on fuel. So here is the steering wheel in the Sequoia. Let's kind of zoom in so we can go over things. So you can see right here on the steering wheel, there's a Toyota logo. Here is the controls for the center stack. We'll go over that in a moment. That is kind of like your sensor for the front collision warning. You've got your lane departure assistance, voice commands over here, and then you got the cruise control, which is hiding back there. But other than that, things are pretty simple on the steering wheel. Oh, light stock over there on the side, windshield wiper stock on that side. Now we have our RPMs on the left side. On the right side, we've got the speed, and then you've got that gauge in the center, which, like I said, you can scroll through a couple different menus. So if I press that back button to get out of that screen, you can see that there's a couple different menus that I can scroll through on the Sequoia. Pretty standard setup, just like all the other Toyotas. And then you can see like all the safety tech. If I go back a screen, all of the stuff that this comes with. So it's kind of nice that you can go through all of the safety tech on the Sequoia. So you've got the center display right here. You've got your analog controls on both sides. So like your home, menu, audio, map button, for example. So like if I press the map button, it'll pull up the navigation. If I press the menu button, it'll go back to the main menu. And then it also doubles as a touchscreen, which I'm surprised that the response time on it's actually pretty good. I do have some gloves on, which does get in the way, but I'm just noticing every single time I press something, it responds pretty quickly. And if we actually pop the Sequoia into reverse, you can see backup camera will pop up with the little trajectory lines. So it'll make parking this a little bit easier. Other than that, I like the infotainment system. It does look a little bit more old school. However, it's easy to use. We've got our dual zone climate controls right in this little area here, and obviously I have them synced. You can see you've got your heated seats, which I am going to turn that up. And yeah, let's continue. You can see all of our charging stations down right there. Got a couple cup holders right here, and then another, what I assume is like a mini cup holder for like a little coffee cup. Full center console right here. Don't worry, we'll go over the shifter in a minute, but full center console right here in this little area, and you can pick it up just with that little handle. I got like a tray at the top. You got a little 12 volt in there. And then we can pop over to the glove box where we can open that up and see that it's got 2 tiers in it, tons of storage space. And then if we press this, you got a glove box at the top. So between the 2 tiers and the 2 glove boxes, there's plenty of glove box storage space. Here's the shifter for the 6-speed automatic. You do have dual shift mode if you do want to shift the gears yourself. And then here is your drive mode select. So you can see here, we've got the 2-wheel drive, you've got your 4-wheel high push into 4-wheel low, lockers, you've got your tow haul mode. So this thing is all set up for the off-road and then also for towing. Up top, we have our little sunglass holder right there, light controls. This does have a sunroof, which you can see we're not going to open that because, just because. But other than that, things are pretty simple up top. I like the headliner up here, even though I can't feel it because I'm wearing gloves. I can look at it and tell that it's softer, which I like when they do softer headliners because I think it looks better and then it also obviously feels better. Now that we're done going over the features on this particular Sequoia, let's talk about pricing. So this Sequoia TRD Sport stickers for about $63,000 before any type of market adjustment, which obviously is on the higher end of things. However, this is a truck-based SUV, and most truck-based SUVs are pretty expensive in general because you're kind of getting a truck and an SUV all in one, so then the price goes up. But anyways, that all being said, let's take this TRD Sport out to see how it drives. Talk about visibility in the Sequoia TRD Sport before we set off. You can see visibility over the hood is obstructed by snow, but other than that, visibility over the hood, I've driven Sequoias before. It's actually pretty easy to see out of. It kind of abruptly ends, and then we can see visibility throughout the mirror, and that's also covered in snow, my bad. That mirror, that at least helps us out there. And then we can see visibility out throughout the rear. I mean, gigantic windows, so it's really easy to see out of. And now let's set off. So setting off here in the Sequoia TRD Sport, let's talk about road noise and ride quality. So in terms of ride quality, it's exceptionally smooth. I mean, it's a longer wheelbase SUV. Even though this is supposed to be more of like an off-road type package, it still rides really smooth. And in terms of road noise, I hear a little bit coming from the tires, but there's actually not a whole lot that comes through. So in general, it's a pretty decently insulated cabin and it's comfortable to drive. Now we are turning here and the steering on it is exceptionally light. I mean, it just kind of goes right where you put it. There's quite a bit of vagueness in the steering. However, it's really light, so if you kind of like that light, vague steering, you don't want it to be like all darty over the place, then this gives you that like comfortable steering essentially. So I just had to make a little bit of a turn there to like flip around, and turning radius on it is, it's okay. I mean, it's not the best, it's not the worst, you know, it's just kind of, it's okay. Now let's get a little acceleration here. Now, I've driven a bunch of Tundras, I've driven the Sequoia before, and I mean, this is the identical setup to what the Tundra has, pretty similarly sized as well, and so I mean, it accelerates identically to a Tundra. It's a decent amount of power. Like I've said in my other videos, I would like to get a, you know, version with, you know, either like an 8-speed or a 10-speed automatic, something that shifts a little bit quicker, and, you know, maybe they do something that has a little bit more power, but I mean, it's sufficient. Now to wrap things up, if you are looking for, you know, kind of like a sort of off-road type SUV, obviously not as hardcore as the TRD Pro, and you know, you want something that you can also throw a bunch of people in as well, throw a bunch of luggage in, just has a ton of storage space, then this is definitely going to be the route to go. And this is kind of like the budget version of a Land Cruiser almost, because it's got almost all the same functionality as a Land Cruiser, but it's not $80,000, it's $60,000. Just still a lot of money, but it's still less than a Land Cruiser, so I'd at least give the Sequoia a look. And there we have it, everyone, the 2020 Sequoia TRD Sport. Really like this SUV. Obviously, if you want something that you can haul a bunch of people around in and then also take it on the off-road. But that all being said, if you are stopping for the first time, please subscribe, comment down below what you thought, and then a big shout out and thank you to the Larry H. Miller Toyota here in Murray, Utah for providing us with the TRD Sport. Check out their inventory in the link below.